Our group of special prayer today is for nurses. For nursing is more than just a profession. It is a vocation. Nursing is a calling that, especially in this time of the pandemic, it is marked by heroism, even to the point of giving one's life. Our lesson today is on peace of the Lord versus world peace. In reflecting upon the Jesus world in the Gospel of St. John, peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I note first that this peace is not universal peace, the peace that comes from the absence of war. Rather, it is the peace in the heart, the peace in our souls, the peace we all have within us. In the Gospel, Jesus says that the peace he will give is not a worldly peace. Not as the world gives do I give it to you. The peace of this world is a peace given by the things that are superficially pleasing to each of us. That peace is a kind of personal possession, something I have in isolation from you, something I keep for myself alone, but something you too keep in isolation from me as your possession. Without realizing it, this kind of peace can lull us into a sleepy tranquility where we end up closed in on ourselves. It is a bit of selfishness. It's also a very costly peace, because those who seek it must always change what gives them that peace. It is costly because it is temporary and sterile. The peace that Jesus gives is very different. It's a peace that makes you move. It doesn't isolate you. Instead, the peace Jesus leads you to, it leads you to reach out to others. It leads you to create community and communication. While the peace of the world exacts a huge toll, the peace Jesus gives is entirely free. It's a gift of the Lord. The example from the Gospels of the wealthy man whose barns were filled with grain, and he thought he was doing so well. And he was even looking to build more barns, to store more grain, to keep it away from people. But then God said to him, "You fool, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be?" This world peace doesn't open the doors to the future, to heaven, but is concerned only with oneself. The peace that Jesus gives, on the other hand, is always focused on the Lord. It is a peace not just for today, but for the future. It is to begin to live in heaven with the fruitfulness of heaven. Worldly peace can lull us to sleep like a drug, like a narcotic, but we are constantly in need of another dose. This worldly peace is limited because it is always temporary, but the peace that Jesus gives is definitive, fruitful, and infectious. When I have it, you can catch it too. May the Lord grant us this peace that gives hope, that creates community, and that looks to the definitive peace of paradise. Amen.